Good morning, everyone. And how are you all doing today? Guess what? It's Thursday, and what does that mean? Getting it done with gratitude. And as always, we are your co host, Karen and Shelly Ann, and we are super, super happy to be here. Today and this month is being recognized around the world as Mental Awareness Month. And this has become something that is so important. COVID taught us the importance of looking after our mental well being. I think before COVID, we were all over the place. We were busy being busy and everything. But COVID really showed us the importance of taking that pause or of being paused and paying attention to the little things. And one of those things is stress. And so today, we really want to delve into, does gratitude really impact stress? Can gratitude really make a difference when we are managing stress? And today I know that we're going to have a really, really insightful episode because you know what? Shelly has anxiety, and through gratitude, this is something that she has all learned to manage, to be aware of the signs, and to know what to do. And she's also going to share with you this morning some ways that have really just made a difference in her life. So, before we get right in, where I'm just going to start off by telling you what stress is as defined by World Health Organization. Just a quick reminder, I'm Karen Williams Thompson. I'm a life and business strategist, and I help women say yes to themselves. I help you get absolutely clear on what is it you truly want in your life, why you want it, identify what's holding you back and how to manage that. And I help you to create the most awesome plan based on your vision and your values so that you can successfully achieve the goals that you have for your life and live the life that you have always imagined. And I get to do this every Thursday with a very dear friend, Shelly Ann.
Thank you, Karen. Good morning. And good morning, all of those of you who are with us live. Thank you so much for checking in. If you're looking at the replay, we absolutely appreciate it. And I as Karen said, I'm obsessed with gratitude and it's very personal for me. And because of that intimate relationship with anxiety and gratitude and depression and ADHD as well, it's a whole thing. What I do is actually I use gratitude to sort of sort through the noise is what I call it, and that's what I help my clients do as well. Because when you're ambitious and you have goals and you're really pretty clear on what you want to do, but you don't know how to get there, sometimes it feels like you're just being busy and going around in circles. And at that point, what is absolutely useful is to pause with gratitude and then take a look at your habits. So, I'm actually a gratitude guide and habit coach because that's what I help my clients do, to implement gratitude to help them pause and look at their habits so that they can adjust as necessary to actually move forward and not just be busy, but actually be productive. And when it comes to gratitude and stress, that is really the area that works the most. And that's what we start with when I work with my clients and when I work with myself too. The gratitude actually helps with reducing the stress and giving us that moment to figure out what's the next step and then take it.
Absolutely. And I love that you said sorting through the noise. There is so much noise around us. I remember I did a piece earlier and we talked about, how many distractions there are, how many things bombard you, even as you
Yeah.
awake in the morning, your phone alarm goes off, there may be news breaking on the radio. There are just things that bombard you all the time. So sorting through the noise is really, really important. But let's get right into it. And WHO said that stress is a state of worry or of mental tension caused by a difficult situation. And when you think about it, stress is often caused when we are in difficult situations, when things aren't going as planned, or when things happen unexpectedly that we didn't see it coming at all. And these things then can cause stress in our lives. But stress also is a natural human response, and it prompts us to look at these challenges and to start to address them. And this is what we want to talk about today. How are you really going to address the stress as it pops up in your life? Because once you can manage that, the ripple effect is that the day goes better, you feel better, things work out better. That tension that we just mentioned is eased and relaxed. And in doing that, you are really able to step into whatever it is that you are seeking to achieve the most. So, really, we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to just ask Shelly to just share with you, like, when she discovered she had anxiety, how using gratitude has really been able to help her. How was it before, and how is it now that she's really applying gratitude? Because I can vouch for Shelly. She applies gratitude every day, all day. So we are
It,
talking to
it,
someone, or someone is talking to us who really embodies the practice of gratitude.
yeah,
So,
it's
Shelly,
for me, it's a lifeline. It really, really is a lifeline. And I want to add to that definition of stress to kind of bring it a little bit more personal, because you mentioned the situations that are unexpected and the challenges that we face that bring up stress. But when you have anxiety and ADHD and depression and other situations happening, quite often everything brings on a certain level of stress. I mean, it happens for us, all humans, normally, because stress is a natural response. And once the situation is dealt with, we usually, calm down and the stress hormones subside. They go away. But even the good things, what we consider good things, create stress. And if we're not managing that effectively, then that also can create an issue. So let's say you're buying a house. That's a good thing. You're getting a house, but then there's the payment, the loan if you have to take one, what's going to happen next, and then all these questions come up, and a situation that is meant to be a good thing in your life turns out to bring you a lot of stress. And for me, those are the points where we have the most challenges. Because when it's a distressing situation where things are going wrong, it's easier for us to reach out for help, because then things are going wrong and we can ask for help. But when we feel like things are going right and we're still stressed, where do we turn? How do we reach out? Because we have a tendency to tell each other, but everything is going good with you. Why are you stressed? And that is where the real issues come in for me, because in my life, for the most part, people on the outside looking at me would say that, life is good. I'm I'm running my own business. We know there are stresses with that, but they come and go, and you move forward. Um, family, kids, everything, everybody is healthy. And people look, and I'm always smiling. So what, you're always smiling. What are you stressed about? What is there to be stressed about? But when anxiety has a way of creating questions, and for someone who has anxiety or any of the other issues that intensify stress, what happens is that our what if ends with something negative. No, you can't do say, what if it all works out? That's a what if, but it ends with something positive. Usually the what if ends with something negative. What if something goes wrong with the transaction? What if I oversleep, and every Thursday, this is what goes through my mind when I get up. As soon as my eyes, even before my eyes open, the minute I gain consciousness and awareness out of sleep, I think, oh gosh, what's the time? I hope it's not close to 7 o'clock. I still have to get up and put on the computer and log in to stream this program. Please, please, please. And I say these words, before I pick up the phone to check the time, right? Please, please, please let it be 6 o'clock. At least 6 o'clock so I could have time. And usually when I look at it, it's like either four something or five something. But there is those are the first thoughts. So the first thoughts are the negative thoughts. And so in a situation like that, and this happens every Thursday, every time I have an appointment, and for those of you when you have like business meetings and or you have a presentation to do,
Mhm.
presentations bring up so much anxiety for many people, whether they have an issue with anxiety or not. Presentations do these things. So what I do when after that comes up, I hear myself, I listen to myself, and I am very aware because I've been doing this for some time. I am acutely aware of when the thoughts are becoming overwhelming, and I feel the physical change, and I know, okay, you need to interrupt this. And so that's where the gratitude comes in. That's my first point of intervention, using the gratitude. And for me, that first point of intervention allows me to get enough control over the situation that I can apply other points of intervention. So while gratitude is hugely powerful, it's hugely powerful because it's a catalyst and it's a starting point. So I am in no way suggesting that just simply listing gratitudes and being grateful is going to solve the issue, but it's a starting point that's going to give you the courage and the strength to keep moving, to continue and deal with the issue. So I remind myself, have you ever been so late that you guys missed a presentation? No. You check the time, it's early enough. You can get up, you can do this. And so there's a constant conversation. And then I remind myself that, hey, I get to talk about gratitude today.
Mm.
Super grateful for that because, I'm not just a promoter, I'm a user. You know that concept.
Yes, yes, yes.
I know what it feels like deeply on the inside. So I really would like to, if I could hold every human being on this planet and explain to them and make them feel the way I feel before and after the gratitude so they could see how it works and feel how it works. I would do that. I really would do that. So I am grateful it's a beautiful day. I am grateful if it's raining, I'm grateful for the rain because we need the water. If it's sunny, I'm grateful for the sunshine because we need the sunshine too. I'm grateful that I'm waking up. I feel the wind off of the fan, is cool. I'm grateful. And I run through a list of all the things that I'm grateful for in that moment. And then I get up and I get going and I keep it like a mantra running in my mind.
I think the thing that jumped out for me there really was interrupting the thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that from what I'm hearing you say with everything that comes up, like how you wake in the morning and you think, oh my goodness, do we have enough time? Am I going to get everything, the computer up, etc.? Is interrupting the thoughts. And this is where the practice of the gratitude comes. I mean, for someone like you who's been doing it for a number of years, it's easier for you, I think, to identify, as you said, when those thoughts are coming and what they're causing. So you see the trigger before it
Mhm.
actually
Mhm.
impacts. And then you are able to interrupt it because you have those tools and those skills. But
Yeah.
what I want to say is, apart from interrupting those thoughts, is that gratitude and practicing gratitude is a skill that you develop. You know, if you listen to
Mhm.
Shelley, Shelley says this is something that she has been doing over time, but it's something that she started out doing, just like we started out doing it, and you can start out doing it, and you start slowly. But like everything, consistency is the key.
Mhm.
Consistency is what's going to make the difference. You know that when you have the consistency, when you're making a cake, it comes out so much different than when you just and say, well, whatever happens, thank you, ma'am, it happens. Consistency is key. You know, when you go to a restaurant once to eat and you really had a good time and the food was good and the service was lovely and the ambiance was out of this world, and then you come another time and it doesn't live up to that, the consistency there is broken. So it's all about consistency. And the
Yeah.
more that you practice the gratitude and integrate it into your life, the more consistent you become. That's when you then are going to reach the same stages that Shelley reaches. But I wanted to
Yeah.
say too, when for someone, Shelley, who does not have those skills in their toolkit like you do. You know, well, if I see this happening, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and you can swing to them. What are the things that like you learned to do at the very beginning when you were in the throes of having an
Mm.
anxiety attack? What were the little
Yeah.
steps? You know, those little things that sometimes, you know, we do it all the time, so we don't really see how
Yeah.
impactful it is. But what are those little things that perhaps someone watching who, okay, they're not where I am, they're not where you are, but they are having anxiety. What can they do?
Um, but before I get into that, I just want to say good morning, Beth Ann. Thanks for joining us.
Hi!
Um, yes. Um, in the beginning, it was really recognizing that it's not just a me thing, and I'm not just supposed to get over it.
Mm,
And I think that is the first step in recognizing that you can address the situation effectively when you realize this is not how life is supposed to be. I'm not supposed to always be stressed and worried and trembling and hyperventilating. And I mean, I think I shared once that I missed a friend's wedding because of uh like a huge anxiety attack going into this situation, and recognizing that things like that can happen, and I can make the changes necessary. So that was the first step for me, recognizing that hey, this is something that I can deal with, and not necessarily me personally, but reach out for help, because in the beginning I had coaches, I had mentors. I still check in with coaches and mentors from time to time, and I have a very close community around me that I can and reach out to. So on the days that it's is really heavy, and I don't know how to give myself the self-compassion, I can reach out to others who can start it for me, because what you really need is that start, and the
mhm,
gratitude is that start, but sometimes you can't do it alone, which is why I got into the habit coaching as well, because as you said, the consistency with the gratitude is what has gotten me to this point, not
mhm,
necessarily just applying the gratitude here and there. I apply it to everything, and through building that habit of gratitude, I'm able to recognize and interrupt. But when I just started out, my first point was recognizing that something can be done. I'm not lost. I'm not destined to live with this and suffer through it and have nothing I can do. I actually can do something about it. And that's the first step. And morning, Dr. Powell. Yeah, I had to recognize that first. And then from that, I started with being aware, so mindfulness, deep breathing, and the gratitude sort of combined. So what I realized is that for me, like the mindfulness and all those affirmations and so on, they work, but I was never really consistent with them. So they would work for a time, I would feel great, and then I would kind of, slide and slip into the anxiety and the depression, and then wake up and say, "Oh, right." And then I would do it again, and there would be a kind of cycle. When I started with the gratitude practice of writing it down, so after the deep breathing, so the awareness first, then the deep breathing to help physically calm myself, then I wrote it down. So I used to say the gratitude in my head, but then sometimes I would get interrupted. Sometimes I would forget, I'm thinking, okay, what do I have to be grateful for? And if I didn't have anything written down, then I didn't have anything to start. So when I started writing it down on a morning when I woke up and the anxiety was really intense, what I would do is to flip back through my journal and read what was already there. And then that would give me the insight to write on the day that I'm working with. So
I
it's
love
really
that.
putting those things into place.
Yes. And there were quite a few things there that you said that are really super gold nuggets. I really hope everyone jumped and picked them up. But community is one. It is so important on this
Yeah,
journey in life to have the right, whether you call it the inner circle, your tribe, your circle of five, whatever you have, your board of directors. I did a piece a couple months or weeks ago asking, do you have your own board of directors? Because each of us should. We should have that group of persons that Shelley mentioned earlier, that when things are not going as you would like, you can reach out, but that they're also there when things are going right. So they
yeah,
are your, and they're the persons also that hold you accountable. So having your very own board of directors is something that is super important. And if it's something that you don't have as yet, I really encourage you to look around and see who are the people that you talk to the most. Are they the right people for the journey that you are on? Are they the right
oh, yeah,
people for the journey that you are embarking on and where you are going? John Maxwell says that we are the average of the five persons that we spend the most time with. I challenge you this morning to look around and see who are your five, and are they the five that are going to take you where you want to go? So, community is so important. Needing that start was something else that Shelley mentioned. And I am a goals queen. So, setting goals, creating a plan, that's my superpowers. And I know that the most important thing is that first step. Because we can think about it, we could wish it, we could dream it, we could do who. But it's not until we actually take the very first step, whether that
yeah,
first step is getting a coach, whether that first step is writing the plan, whether that first step is as simple as writing out what is it I really want to achieve? What is it
yeah.
that really lights me up? So, taking that first step by applying gratitude is super, super important. So you build in the community, you're taking that first step. And then there are the things that you can do. And you would have heard us speak so many times about things like mindfulness and about
Hmm.
being present to what is happening. Listen to your body, it talks to you. Pay attention to the thoughts that are circulating there in your head. And when, like Shelley says, you hear the ones that are not that favorable, nip that in the bud. Nip that in the
Absolutely.
bud before it starts to spiral. What else can you
Mhm.
do? You can express gratitude to others by letting others know how you appreciate them. That
Yes.
doesn't only do something for them, it does something for you. So you can do that. That's another way that you can start to just integrate gratitude into your life. What about exercises? We exercise our body. We also should exercise our mind. And I started by saying this month is all about mental awareness and heightening the the awareness of how we can be better at looking after our mental well-being. And there is this simple three good thing exercise. So you have heard us mention this before, maybe just slightly differently. But every day, what are three things that you are grateful for? What are three good
Mhm.
things that happened to you today? The more you get in the habit of identifying these things, believe me, it's easy to see what is not working. It's easy to
Yep, that's the
see
first thing that comes
what's
up.
not going the way that you want it to go. So challenge yourself again to say, what are three good things that happened to me today? And I'm sure that you're going to come up with more than three. And one that I like that I didn't think about before was visual reminders. You can use little things like your sticky notes and just put up things that you are grateful for. And when you are in the midst of that moment, when you feel it coming on, you have those little reminders around you that say whatever it is you want them to say, you know.
Hmm.
I'm grateful for the sunshine. I'm grateful for the wind on my face. I'm grateful that I can
Yeah.
look out the window and see the roses in my garden. There's so many things around us right now, wherever we are, in whatever space we are, and we look around, there is something to be
Yeah.
grateful for. So, our
Yeah.
challenge to you is, what are the three things that you are grateful for? What are the three things that you feel good about? What are the three things that are good things that have happened to you today, yesterday? Share it with us in the comments and let us all celebrate each other. So I think,
Yeah.
Shelly, you've touched on some really, really amazing things. And stress is not going to go anywhere,
No,
but
it
how we
is part of
manage
life.
it.
It is part of life.
Exactly. It
And the
all
thing
comes
about
down
it
to how we
is,
manage it.
without stress, we don't grow. And
Hmm.
so the agenda and the goal is not to eliminate stress, right? So we're not trying to eliminate stress. What we're trying to do is to manage our response to the stress. And if the stress is not, um, if it's a distress, because there's distress and eustress, there's a good one and the bad one. There's a whole conversation about stress because of how it affects our bodies. And what what we really need to do is to reduce the distress and manage the positive stressors that help us grow and continue developing. So, I mean, you can think about it this way. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have leatherback turtles
Mm.
um, that, nest. And if the turtles hatch, if you take them out and they hatch and you put them in the water, what happens is that they're not strong enough to really, swim and do the things that they need to. So they have to, even if you help them out, you have to allow them to make their way to the water. And in through that few moments of stress, the action of making their way to the water, they build the strength and they build the resilience that's going to help them. And that's how it is with stress. So you don't want to eliminate all of it, but you do want to be able to manage it and to deal with it. And when you mentioned about those sticky notes and different things, in habit coaching, those things are called activators. How
Ah.
do we activate our habits? How do we activate the things that we want to do? Because it's not as simple as, I want, if it was as simple as, oh, I want to do this and I get it done, we wouldn't even be having these kinds of conversations. It's not that simple. And sometimes, we also talk about lots of people who know what they want to do and they're going after it. But then there are some of us who we are acutely aware. I did an exercise the other day, and they were asking, when were there moments when you weren't really thinking and you just acted completely on habit and you weren't aware of what you're doing? And it took me a week to answer that question because I'm always aware. I'm going left when I want to go right, but I am aware that I'm going left. How do I stop myself from going left, knowing that I'm going left when I want to go right? And that's where
Mm.
the interruption and the habits and the activators and all those things come into play, and where gratitude allows me to reduce the distress and the it's almost as if you're battling the stress hormones with the gratitude hormones, because they do
Mm.
both release chemicals in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it works, and that's where the starting point is. And understanding what your activators are, understanding how to activate the good habits and deactivate the bad habits to really keep you in the momentum and keep you going. That's where a habit coach comes in, and that's where understanding. So we know what the goal is, we have that clarity, but somehow we're going woo that way instead of straight ahead. So yeah, that's it. It's a progress, it's a process, it's a continuous awareness, and making sure that we have that supportive community. And Dr. Powell says she calls it high quality people, those board of directors that you mentioned.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, I love that term, high quality people.
I might
and
have to borrow
and
that.
and Karen, just like that, it's actually the half an hour went poof.
Listen, I was saying that, but I was saying this was just so. It was
Mm,
it was good today. Really, I mean, it's always good for us, but I
yeah,
really enjoyed listening as well as being in this circle this morning. And some, when you spoke just now about the process, I think that's what we all just need as we wrap it up and we do our takeaways. I think the process, interrupting the thoughts, being aware of what the activators are, and understanding and giving ourselves grace by accepting that it is a process. It is by making it an integral part of who we are and what we are that we are then going to have the ongoing changes that we really want to have in our life. But more than that, by making it a process, by integrating it into our daily lives, we are also helping ourselves to have a stronger, better mental well-being. And that's
yeah,
something that we are all striving for, because life can be busy, things will happen, but how we respond and react to them is going to make the difference for the quality of life that we are going to have. And the better the quality of life we have, the better the quality of life for those around us. So, Shelley, I
absolutely.
will leave the wrap up with you today.
After such beautiful sentiments, all I really have to say is when we interrupt with gratitude, we gain the strength and the resilience to sort through the noise and keep going. And that's really how we get it done with gratitude. And guys, as Karen said, this month we're talking mental health and wellness and beginning with stress, because that's the place where it begins and many people don't recognize it,
Mhm.
and it's affecting us so incredibly. So stay tuned, check back with us next week Thursday 7 a.m. Eastern time, and we will be here talking about how you can get it done with gratitude. Have a wonderful rest of today, evening, morning, night, wherever you are, and see you next week. Take care,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone. Have a good day.